Hey guys, we're going to dive into something that's incredibly important if you are going to create long-lasting pain relief in your body. This might be one of the most important modules. Actually, maybe that's not true. All of these are very important, so make sure you do not skip any of them in this module. It's going to help you identify exactly what we need to do in the next module of all the doing parts, right? We're going to break down exactly what you need to be doing, but for you to get long lasting pain relief, we need to first know what areas we need to create space. So when we're able to pinpoint our pain patterns and understand where the pain is actually coming from, then we can create lasting pain relief. So there are two things that I like to explain to my students that help people understand the complexity of the fascial system and our movement patterns. And one of them is, I love to explain it as you're sharing your bed, and in that you have shared blankets. And this person, it's a very cold night, and this person wraps themselves up and steals all the blankets, right? This person wakes up and they're like, hey, I'm really cold. They're complaining, they're communicating and letting the brain know, hey, something's wrong. Check engine light, right? And this person, this tissue, if we were if we were to pick on the person that got all of the blankets taken away from them, and we were to poke them, say, stop whining, it's not going to really make anything better, right? It's just going to make it worse. This person's just going to get pissed off, right? And that's the same for our tissue. When we're poking at our piriformis, for example, most of my clients have piriformis pain, not because the piriformis needs to be picked on, but because the opposite side of the hip needs to be picked on, because this guy stole the blankets, right? The hip, it rotated it forward and stole the blankets from this guy. And this guy's just saying, hey, I need my tissue back. So let's go back to that image where two people are laying in the bed. One person takes all the blankets. This person's cranky. And then we take the blankets back from this person and we have two happy people. And this is really important for also recognizing big muscle versus little muscle. A big muscle, it's much easier for them to take all that tissue, and the little guy is just getting taken from. So I want you to think of it as going where the root cause is the person that stole the blankets, not the person that's freezing, even though they're the one that's communicating. And root cause is almost always, always, always big muscle versus little muscle. Once we have that understood, then we can also go and do the analogy of the flat tire. And a lot of times it's really easy for us to be very motivated to try to create lasting pain relief in our body. And we lay there for like an hour trying to work everything out because we hurt so bad, and we blast the whole body. Not only are we not going into the area that's actually causing our pain because we didn't know the big muscle versus little, and we didn't remember because we were in so much pain, we just wanted to work right where it hurt, which was this guy, not this big guy. And we exacerbated the problem. So when we have 4 tires on our car and we have one flat, if we put the same exact amount of air in each and every one of those tires, what do you think would happen? We'd still be driving down the road like this. And in fact, our other tires might blow out, right? That would be a terrible worst case scenario. But if we have one flat tire, because we overused that one by maybe running into a curb or whatever, and that's very specific to a car, right? What a human body, an over movement pattern looks like is standing on your right leg all the time because that's your dominant. And even my lefties, almost every single one of them is right leg dominant because they've just been practicing that the whole life. They've either been trained by a sports, like their coach was right-handed, so they learned that, whatever it is. So I want to be transparent about that because sometimes my lefties are like, well, I'm a lefty, so I'm probably on the other side. Most of the time, you are still right leg dominant. You might be a little bit more left upper body dominant, but most of my lefties are right leg dominant, which would still cause that rotation forward on the right-hand side. You have a flat tire on the right-hand side. And when we want to create change and smooth sailing, we have to only work on that one tire. It's going to save you a bunch of time. It's going to save you a bunch of frustration. It's going to save you a lot of intensity. And the really important thing that's also a part of this is when we only work on exactly what needs the space, we're much faster to create that balance, and we have energy for our body to heal. Another great analogy that one of my instructors taught me is breadcrumbs. We're dropping very specific breadcrumbs throughout the body so that our body can find its way to healing. But if we were to work everything in the body, it's kind of like dropping breadcrumbs across the whole forest and expecting ourselves to be able to find our way out. We're going to be exhausted. We're going to be going everywhere, and we're not going to find a way, right? We're still going to be clunking around because we've put air in every single one of our tires, and we're not going to have energy. So that's something that is very easily overlooked. Even if we remember to work on the area that's very specific, then we've decided, okay, I need to work on the right quad, the right hip flexor, and the left hamstring to get my back from not hurting, which is very common for most people. And we go in there and we spend 10 minutes in each area. That, my friends, is going to exhaust it, and it's going to be too much. So less is more. Making sure that we use the correct tool, something that squishes a little bit more. It's not going to be a lacrosse ball. It's not going to be a tennis ball. Those do not squish enough, and it actually causes our body to create more collagen, more scar tissue in those areas, which causes more flexion, less strength, and more instability. And I say this not to say that you have been doing anything wrong. I'm saying that you can do it. I mean, it's a place where we needed to, science has now taught us, because we were doing things because as an athlete, I completely understand, like, ooh, this feels so good, and it's like the hurt so good kind of feeling. And we're seeking towards that. So the method that I'm going to show you with the balls that squish a little bit more, they are going to be less intense. And this is on purpose, because our body is not going to see an overuse pattern, but it's going to take those fascial layers and it's going to stretch them. Every single time your fascia sinks into that ball, it's going to go and it's going to create space, and then it's going to allow it to heal without laying new tension patterns. So remember, flat tire, big muscle versus little muscle, can pull it out of alignment. Making sure that we take the tissue and bring it back to the place that's barking at us. And then making sure we're not using a tool that's really tough, because that feels good, but using a tool that squishes, that will actually allow our body to heal now and continue healing instead of actually making the problems worse. Okay, my friends, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.